وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. So this ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah, it's ayah 178. It's an ayah where there is a lot of debate on it, and usually enemies of Islam try to belittle Islam or fight Islam or criticize the Muslim that they have the death penalty. So Allah Azza wa Jalla said, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم القصاص في القتلى الحر بالحر والعبد بالعبد والأنثى بالأنثى فمن عفي له من أخيه شيء فاتباع بالمعروف وأداء إليه بإحسان ذلك تخفيف من ربكم ورحمة فمن اعتدى بعد ذلك فله عذاب عظيم. Which means in English, see what the translator said here. O you who believe, the law of equality is prescribed to you in cases of murder. The free for the free and the slave for the slave and the woman for the woman. But if any remission is made by the brother of the slain, then grant any reasonable demand and compensate him with handsome gratitude. This is a concession and a mercy from your Lord. After this, whoever exceed the limits shall be in a grave penalty. Now our teachers, mashallah, tell us many things. One of it, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu. So this privilege is only for those who believe. The people forget that Allah doesn't need our belief. He created us and we are in size-wise negligible compared to the size of the universe He created. Even the size, the earth. Forget, the rest of the solar system and the rest of the galaxy and the billions and billions of galaxies. So Allah doesn't need us, whether we believe or not. But Allah Azza wa Jal wants those who believe to enjoy the gift from Him. And the gift from Allah Azza wa Jal is this ayah, is really a gift in tackling crime. Obviously, you need to know at the time when the Quran was revealed, people were taking revenge for crime depends on their ability and strength. So if somebody kills a slave in a tribe, they go and kill 10 of the heads of the other tribe. Take revenge, not one for one, but they take revenge And the Prophet ﷺ, when his uncle Al-Hamza was killed, he made an oath that he will kill 70 of the Qurayshi. And Allah Azza wa Jalla said no to him. He said no to him. وَإِنْ عَاقَبْتُمْ فَعَاقِبُوا بِمِثْلِ مَا عُوقِبْتُمْ. Allah said the Quran, send an ayah. If you are insulted, attacked, attack back the same amount you're being attacked. So if they kill one, we kill the killer of this man. And there's no differentiation between whether they kill, because if they kill a woman, they go and kill 2 men. If they kill, a slave, they go and kill 2 leaders or something. So Allah is saying here, no. The free man should be killed for a free man, a woman for a woman, a slave for a slave. It doesn't mean that a man cannot be killed for killing a woman. He will. But here, that 1 for 1, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, an injury for an injury, equal amount of punishment. And regardless whether he's free or slave or a woman. And qisas, the penalty for killing, the death penalty, is here never been a treatment for the killing. It's a prevention. Most people who kill, they kill because they want to stay alive. They want the money. They want the control. They want the leadership. They want the market. They usually after a worldly gain. Nobody go and kill somebody else to go to Jannah unless he is defending his country, and there is a chance that he loses his life for the sake of his country, for the sake of his family. So if killers across the globe now, they know if they are caught, they will be killed, probably reduce crimes by 90-95%, and that's life. Allah Azza wa Jalla said at the end of the ayah, the next ayah, وَلَكُمْ فِي الْقِصَاصِ حَيَاةٌ يَا أُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. Verily you will have life, you will save life by applying the death penalty. And Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying here, I'm only talking to those who are brainy, those who can think, those who are able to understand. Allah Azza wa Jalla doesn't talk to people who are psychopaths and people who are arrogant and people who are criminal and people. So Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying that if now the murder in Islam, the death penalty is in the hand, and that's the beauty of Islam. It's in the hand of the victim's family. The one who was killed, the family decide whether he should be killed or he should pay ransom. So it's never in the hand of the leader or ruler or imam or anybody else. So it's in the hand of the family. So it's not Allah Azza wa Jalla imposing on people His law, that's it, do what I say. No, He left it to us as a human. And people might have all sorts of reasons not to get the killer killed. Now, if he, a member of the family, let's say is the one who was killed, he has 4 brothers and 2 sisters, they all have to make the collective decision that they want him dead, killed, death penalty. If one of them says, no, I don't want him killed, we won't be killed. So the death penalty drops and they have to take the compensation. فَمَنْ عُفِيَ لَهُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ شَيْءٌ, and he's calling him as akh, his brother. He's not like, his enemy, because obviously he killed because he is diseased. He has problem with greediness and has problem with, he loved the lady his brother married her, or he want more money, or want to inherit, or want to become a leader, or want to remove the leader. So he has some problem in understanding how to tackle issues. Instead of addressing it by negotiation and discussion and tribunal and counselors and things, he takes the law into his own hand and kills. So he's diseased in a way. Because he is diseased, he's still your brother. He has problem in his brain. He has to be corrected and treated. Now,
if this compensation is given in this world, does it affect the next? Or will he be punished for the killing in the next world, or is it?
It will come. It will come in a minute. فَمَنْ عُفِيَ لَهُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ شَيْءٌ. So he should give him, follow the rules as it is known, and to give him the money with generosity. So that, this is the ransom, this is the compensation. And this is a help from Allah Azza wa Jal. If one drops the death penalty, everybody drops. He cannot say, no, we don't care about what he decides. If one of them drops. Now, it's similar to something in Islam called أَجَرْنَا مَنْ أَجَرْتِ يَا أُمَّ هَانِئ. Now, the Prophet ﷺ, the law at that time, if an enemy come and attack you, and then he changes his mind and he seek refuge with one of the Muslims, and if a Muslim accepted his support, that he became refuge under her support, nobody can kill him, even if it was a child. If a child say, no, I will protect him, and then when the Prophet ﷺ mentioned few people should be killed when he opened Mecca, because they are, there's no way they will keep quiet and change. They will steer a war again and again. And one of them was related to Hani, the cousin of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and he gave him refuge to under her protection, under her refuge. And Ali ibn Abi Talib want to catch him and kill him, and she went and complained to the Prophet ﷺ, and he was in the mosque, and she shouted that I gave أجرت فلان, And the Prophet ﷺ said, Ajarna man ajarti ya umma Hani. We all agreed that she is under your protection, under your refugees-ness. So this is similar in killing, that if one of them dropped his demand for death penalty, the rest cannot ask for it, become forbidden for them. And this is obviously a help from Allah Azza wa Jal. But what happened فمن اعتدى بعد ذلك فله عذاب أليم. Now when they say, okay, we will not kill him, we will take ransom, usually the murderer could be in hiding. When he hears that he's been forgiven, they will take ransom. He comes out, and one of those who refuse to take the ransom might come and kill him. So فمن اعتدى بعد ذلك فله عذاب عظيم. He will be receiving a severe punishment from Allah Azza wa Jal. Now our teachers looked into this ayah, and they looked into another one. ومن قتل مؤمنا متعمدا فجزاؤه جهنم فجزاؤه جهنم خالدا فيها أبدا ومن يقتل مؤمنا متعمدا فجزاؤه جهنم خالدا فيها وغضب الله عليه ولعنه وأعد له عذابا عظيما. Now, whoever kills a believer deliberately, intentionally, his recompense is hell, to abide therein forever. Now the scholar said, what about here? If he kills it, he will go to Jahannam forever and ever and ever. What about here? Should we kill him or not? So the collective opinion that yes, we punish him, we kill him. And the killing khata by mistake, he can pay the diya, compensation. Now, if he kills deliberately, if he kills deliberately, وما كان لمؤمن أن يقتل مؤمنا إلا خطأ ومن قتل مؤمنا خطأ. The punishment for killing somebody by mistake, to free a slave, a mu'min, a believer slave, and to pay a compensation to his family, unless they don't want, they say, okay, we don't want. إلا أن يصدقوا, they give it as charity, you know. فإن كان من قوم عدو لكم, if he is from an enemy and he is a believer, you free a Muslim slave, and you don't pay your enemy the compensation, because that's you make them stronger to fight you. No, they don't get compensation. But if he was from a nation where there is treaty between you and them, so you give his family a compensation, the diya, what they call now blood money or something, and free a mu'min, a believing slave. So if killing by mistake, they still have to give the money and free a slave. And if you can't find a slave, you need to fast 2 months in sequence, متتابعين, non-stop. What about the one who killed deliberately? Obviously, they said, no, we will punish him as well. So it is not, he's not going to escape that punishment, even it's not mentioned to kill him. So the ayah didn't say kill him. The ayah said he will go to hellfire, and he will stay there forever, because he is more than the killer. He defied and rejected the agreement of his family to take compensation, and he waited till the killer appeared from hiding and he killed him. So that's even more than the first murder to first start with. You said the first murder could be because competing for a lady, or competing for a business, or competing for a position, or competing for money, or for inheritance, whatever. But this guy is intentionally went out, made use of the whole community, agreed that there's no death penalty, and he went and killed him. And Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَلَكُمْ فِي الْقِصَاصِ حَيَاةٌ. You will, if the death penalty is there, it's unlikely the first one will kill, and definitely not the second one, because they're both attached to life. They want life. They don't want to depart and die. So that's the reason for most of them to kill. You want to be in charge and live forever and ever. You want to have a lot of money and live forever and ever, and you want to have the lady and have the fame, have this, have that. He's after worldly gain. So he's not going to kill. He will be thinking 10 times and million times. And now with all sort of advanced technology and CCTV and biometric testing and genetic fingerprint and all sort of data and things, you see sometimes things you never thought they will catch the criminal because of it, but they do. And they have a lot of methods now. They go and find that. I mean, like this guy who lost his car, the company fit a tracker in the car, and the thief went and removed the tracker. They didn't know that he fitted another tracker. So the police found the car in no time. And the same now, the thieves put a paragraph on their face to hide their face, to go and break in and steal a house. They didn't know that the police will not ask for the CCTV in this house. They will ask that house and that house and that house. In the beginning of the street, when the police car was chasing the boy on the bicycle, and they showed from one camera that the bike was running and the police was after it. The police said, no, that car was chasing, going on some other mission. And then the media was more clever. They went to the streets, another street, and they caught the same picture of the police chasing that boy. So they couldn't hide for long. It was actually the second day or the third day they came with the... It's like what happened to the previous prime minister, how they kept producing picture after picture and then produced the video, dancing and things. And now things, and you think they are the same on the same heart? No. It could be his own employees. He was so horrible to them. They will stab him in the back straight away when they have a chance, get rid of him. And that وَلَكُمْ فِي الْقِصَاصِ حَيَاةٌ يَا أُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. Now people are more afraid now. In a way, they're not. Especially now the scams and using computer and things. And I bought something. I thought, people bought it from China for cheap. A egg basket for £26. It's £200. But I know when I went to buy from Alibaba, if you buy 100 sets of these, you get each for 20 quid. If you want only one set, it's £200. But what happened? They go and buy 100 sets, and they sell like 80, 90 of them, and they are left with 10. They sell them with the cost to get rid of them and start another one. So it came to my mind this. And they said, this in this port and in that port in China, and now arrived there, and then delivered to my house. Nothing came. But what I started was drawing money from my account. They took £96. They bought something from Boots, and they started, food delivery in this mall. And the bank straight away phoned me and said, do you recognize any of these transactions? I said, no. So they froze the account and froze the card. And now I'm chasing that guy. They said there's a problem with that transaction with the company. When I tried to dispute the transaction, they said there is a problem there. Will contact us. So then Allah Azza wa Jal tackled another issue, which is as important as death penalty. And the death penalty is one of those important points we're going to discuss with the intellectual jihad, because the crime prevention in Islam is beautiful and it has a lot of deterrent to people. When I went to Saudi the first time in 1977, I bought a car after 1 week and I went to do shopping. I was single. So the guy in the shop, he said, he gave me the keys of his car. He said, take your shopping home. That's my car. I said, okay, my car is over there. They said, no, don't carry it there. Take my shop. No, take it in my car and come back. I never heard this in Syria. You never hear it anywhere. Take my car, take your shopping, and then come back. And when they call for the prayer, they just cover the goods with a sheet and they go to pray. And or they put a chair, upside down by the door that we are in now prayer. Or they sometimes put a stick. The only people who were locking their doors were the gold seller. And because they were thief came mainly from Italy and other places, they were making, succeeding in stealing gold, high quality. But because they were cutting the hand, and the cutting the hand was so much deterrent that just people just leave the shop and go. They go to pray, come back. Forget Saudi and cutting the hand, the death penalty. I don't know whether they're doing it still or not, and I haven't heard any when I left Saudi. But we went to Morocco 5 years ago, me and my wife. We sat in the shop, and my wife wanted certain type and size of earring. He said, hold on, I'll go and get some. He left me and my wife in the shop with all the gold around us, and he went to get the earring. So I took a video. Look, people, he trusted us so much that he just, and if you put in your bag, probably you would put something like 10,000 pounds worth of gold easily, or even more, and just go. Still, when there is good amount of belief, the good amount of trust, and there will be more life-saving. وَلَكُمْ فِي الْقِصَاصِ حَيَاةٌ يَا أُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. When I was in Saudi, there were a guy who went out of his, he was a soldier, went out of his barricade, and he killed somebody and insulted his wife and things, and they hanged him in the city, and that's a deterrent. People will stop doing this. The other topic Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned is the will. Again, Allah Azza wa Jal gave the advice to those who believed in Him. It's good advice, it's protective of you and your family and your community. So He's addressing the believer. People who don't want the Sharia, non-Muslims, or some Muslims sometimes, I don't know whether they are Muslims or not. It's not for you. It won't be applied to you. Because the Prophet ﷺ instructed to deal between the Jew according to their Torah. He instructed Muhammad ﷺ to deal with the Christian according to their Gospels. وَلْيَحْكُمْ أَهْلُ الْإِنْجِيلِ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فِيهِ وَلْيَحْكُمْ أَهْلُ التَّوْرَاةِ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ فِيهِ. And then وَمَنْ لَمْ يَحْكُمْ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْكَافِرُونَ الْفَاسِقُونَ الظَّالِمُونَ. So we are instructed, if he is a Christian, rule according to his Christianity. The second subject is the will. Again, كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمْ, that you are part of this because you will be benefiting from. That when death comes to you, is not when you are dying. When you are dying, the will not be counted, because the Prophet ﷺ said, don't leave your will till your spirit reach your gargara, and then you say, this is to so and so, and this is to so and so, and they're taking it anyway. You can't stop them taking it. So you better do, when you see that the doctors tell you that he has incurable disease, you're not going to survive, disease is not going to be treated, and usually people die within 6 months or a year or whatever, then you need to prepare. We had the brother and sister used to attend our study circle, the wife of, this is the husband of the wife of Ishrat and her husband. Ishrat had liver problem and she was dying, and we went to visit her, and she told me she sorted all her finance, she sorted all her property, and she gave me £2,000 to send it to Syria. And she was still compass mentis, and she's still aware of what she's doing. And the same when Sister Eve died. Unfortunately, we lost 2 from the study circle here. 3. Dr. Qureshi used to come as well. So Buland Akhtar used to come here, and his wife died. Subhanallah, we witnessed. She prepared everything, sorted her Isa, sorted this, sorted that, and she started distributing the money and the items she doesn't want. And that's what he's saying. إِذَا حَضَرَ أَحَدُكُمُ الْمَوْتِ. حَضَرَ الْمَوْتِ.
I think Joseph Buland Akhtar is still alive.
Yeah. Yeah, Buland Akhtar, I think he's living in Leicester now. I haven't heard about him much. his two sons, Rayhan and what the other one, Akhtar, Rashid Akhtar. إذا حضر أحدكم الموت, death come to you, and most people know this is likely to be his final illness. If he leaves خيرا, إن ترك خيرا, Allah Azza wa Jalla didn't say he leaves 10,000 pounds or 10 ounces of gold. If he leaves anything of value, he should write his wasiyah, and his will should be للوالدين والأقربين. Now, walidain, obviously his ancestors, they're not aqrabin. Qareeb become qareeb through your father, but your father is not a qareeb. Aqriba, your relatives, but your father and your mother have special status. So does your wife, and so do your children. So in Islam, when we tackle, because inheritance also is a subject they attack Islam, will be part of our, inshallah, intellectual jihad. How Allah gave the parents protected share. So protected share, they will have it no matter how many children they have. So sometimes the mother ain't having more than all the children, the boys, and if you have too many children. And sometimes the daughter take more than his father. Depends on how many children there is. But the walidain have protected share, and the wife have protected share, and the rest will be divided. The male take twice as much as the female. But when you come to your ancestors, your father and mother, they have protected share, and your wife have protected share, and your children divide what's left after that. So in taraka, it has to be something really of value. To walidain wal aqrabina bil ma'ruf haqqan ala al muttaqin. Then Allah will go and tell us in Surah An-Nisa how much the father and mother should take when there were no children, how much the father and mother take if there are children, and how much the wife will take if there is no children, how much the wife will take if there are children. And then he goes, when there is no father and no son, only daughter and mother and wife, then the relatives will take. But Allah is saying here that you give the father and the mother and the relatives in general as it is known, and it is haqqan al-muttaqin, it's obligatory, it's something like, a due, you have to give it. If you're truly mindful of Allah, if you truly fear Allah Azza wa Jal, if you really want to protect yourself from going to his hell. So he insisted you give aqrabin, because if you start giving the aqrabin, make wasiyah, if you don't leave wasiyah, they might give them nothing, like your auntie father's side, your auntie mother's side, your uncle father's side, your uncle mother's side, your cousins, your nieces, your nephews might not take anything. So what you need to leave them part of your will, because you want, first, they don't envy you when you are alive. Oh, he has so much money, he's fed up with. I mean, I've seen it in my life. I mean, I have cousins who were envying my uncle, and they went to collect money from anywhere, and they ended trading in drugs, and some of them went to prison and things. And because we know the envy, they're always, they're so angry that he is rich. But we work, be mindful of Allah, ask Allah to give you, Allah will give you. But my uncle was the rich one. He was very clever. He was giving all his nephews and nieces clothing every year. We go to the shop with a letter from him, and we get dressed top to bottom. And then he bought a house and put his brothers in it, and he put us in a house of his. And he was very generous to all of us, and his own sister and brother. His father died, and my grandfather died early, left two children, a boy and a girl, and he looked after them in his house until they married. He married them and things, and with his children. So he was so generous to all of us. But this uncle was rich. He had his own business, and I wanted to be like his children wanted to be like their uncle. Long story, but I mean, here Allah gave the relatives. So I don't know whether he should have given him or not, because we know his business was flourishing, Subhanallah, he lost his business to his employer. He wanted to kick his employer out and took him to court, and the compensation was equal to the business. So he took the business and he was left with nothing. So this is very carefully, you need to really be careful how to treat Allah Azza wa Jal and take his advice. But he was, alhamdulillah, my uncle was rich, he remained rich, he died rich, his children rich, alhamdulillah. And when my father died, his son, he said to me, our house was a skeleton, only the walls and the roof. And he said, what your house need? I said, needs flooring, needs doors and windows, needs electricity and water and this and this. He starts sending me to people. Go to so-and-so, give you we'll start plastering, and go to so-and-so, put windows and doors. We had 100 door and windows, got 6-bedroom house, massive house with a lot of windows. And then go to this, the electrician come and fix electricity, and this is that. I was good in wiring the house, so I saved some money on wiring. When they came to connect to the main, they said to me, have you paid the electrician all his money? I said, why? He said, they will keep some shortcut somewhere and keep switching off the light. I said, yeah, we paid them, don't worry. So when he switched, all the house came to light, But I mean, that's the only thing I managed to do. The rest paid by my cousin.
So how much did you get? How much money did you get?
I actually used my effort to help my family to build the house more than my money. It wasn't working. So Allah wants you to give your family them in your will. Keep them in your will.
There's a Sufi. He was actually a drama writer, but he was considered to be a Sufi in Pakistan drama industry. He used to say that you're getting the share of others. So if you stop giving them, Allah will stop giving you.
Yeah. Allah make you agent to distribute the wealth. So if you don't distribute the wealth, then He will stop it. He's a bad agent.
Yeah, so your uncle was getting your share, so if he kept on giving you, so he kept on getting it.
Yeah, and فَمَنْ بَدَّلَهُ, whoever changed what he had, because most of the time people speak, they don't go to the solicitor and dictate the will. Most people don't go to solicitor. Many people have written will. One of them, me, but I haven't gone to solicitor. But if you're here, you shouldn't change what you had. If you say, give this and this and this. There's a story which we don't have time to tell you. Abdullah should inherit, Abdullah should inherit, Abdullah should inherit, and Abdullah should not inherit. All of them called Abdullah, and one of them not inherit, or 3 of them. And then they went to find a wise man to tell them who will not inherit. To cut the story very, very short, the one who should not inherit wasn't his own son. He was a legitimate son. And they discovered, it's a nice story how they discovered. So the one who changed the will be punished by Allah Azza wa Jal. And Allah is all hearing, all knowing. And if you came to know that there's some of them changing the will, you bring them to reconciliation and try to correct the change and make Islah come, and there's no harm on you if you try to bring people back together. Or if you think the one who is going to leave the wasiyah is going to make mistakes. Now, sometime it happened in a family we know, the mother convinced her husband to leave all his money to his boys. He had 4 boys and 4 girls. The girls got nothing and the boys get everything. So that's against the Islamic Sharia. La wasiyata li warith. If he's going to inherit, the law, Islamic law, will give him a share. You cannot change this. So you can only leave money for charities and leave to pay debt. Sometimes you might be allowed to give a little bit or nothing, but to deprive the girls from the inheritance. So they took them to court, and the court decided no, they have to have their shares. And the court gave them, it took a few years to finish. And subhanAllah, all the 4 boys died within less than 10 years from the death of the father. Although the father was quite old when he died. I think we will stop here, inshallah, and we will go to the topic in a minute and discuss haya, inshallah.